Welcome to our channel. Today, we're beginning a captivating journey through the ancient legends of Japan, and we'll start with two of the most revered and foundational figures in Japanese mythology, the deities Izanagi and Izanami. These divine beings are not only central to the creation of the world in Japanese lore, but also embody the profound concepts of life, death, and the natural balance of the universe. Who are Izanagi and Izanami? According to the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, Japan's oldest chronicles, Izanagi and Izanami are primordial deities, often referred to as the god of the inviting male and the goddess of the inviting female. They were the last of the 7 generations of deities, known as the Kamainaneo, born in the heavenly realm of Takamagara. These deities were tasked by the elder gods, the Kodo Amatsukami, to bring order to the chaotic, formless world below and to create the lands we now know as Japan. The divine mandate. Izanagi and Izanami were given a sacred mission to descend from the heavens and solidify the earth. Equipped with the jeweled sphere, Nonoboko, they stood on the floating bridge of heaven, gazing down at the swirling, unformed mass below. As Izanagi dipped the spear into the chaotic waters, droplets fell and formed the first island, Onagoro, which would become the center of their divine activity. The creation of the islands. Once on Onagoro, Izanagi and Izanami performed a ritualistic dance around the celestial pillar, symbolizing the union of male and female energies. However, their first attempt at this ritual was imperfect, as Izanami spoke first, defying the natural order. This mistake resulted in the birth of deformed offspring, teaching them, and by extension, humanity, a lesson about the importance of balance and harmony. The rebirth of creation. Determined to fulfill their mission, Izanagi and Izanami repeated the ritual, this time with Izanagi speaking first. The results were much more successful. The divine couple gave birth to a series of islands that would form the archipelago of Japan, including Awaji, Shikoku, and Kyushu. These islands, known collectively as the 8 Great Islands, Oyashima, were just the beginning of their creative endeavors. The birth of the kami. But their role didn't end with the creation of land. Izanagi and Izanami went on to give birth to many other deities, known as kami, who would govern various aspects of the natural world, rivers, mountains, and seas, as well as the forces of life and death. This prolific divine family laid the foundation for the spiritual beliefs that would permeate Japanese culture for centuries. Significance and themes. The story of Izanagi and Izanami is much more than a creation myth. It's a tale rich with symbolism. It explores themes of duality, male and female, life and death, order and chaos. It reflects the Japanese understanding of the world as a delicate balance that must be maintained. The actions of these deities, their successes and failures, resonate with the human experience, making them not just gods, but relatable figures who mirror our own struggles and triumphs. Closing. As we continue our journey through their story, we'll explore the complexities of their relationship, the birth of the gods, and the profound consequences of their actions. Izanagi and Izanami's tale is not just an origin story for the Japanese islands, but a narrative that delves deep into the essence of existence itself. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll uncover the dramatic events that followed their creation of the world. Content overview. In this clip, you will delve into the mythological story of how Izanagi and Izanami created the Japanese islands. This narrative is a pivotal moment in the Japanese creation myth, showcasing the divine process of bringing order to chaos and the birth of the land. The clip will focus on the ritual they performed, the significance of the islands they created, and the symbolic meanings behind these acts. Introduction. Welcome back to our journey through the ancient myths of Japan. In our last episode, we introduced you to Izanagi and Izanami, the divine duo tasked with creating the world. Today, we continue their story with one of the most iconic events in Japanese mythology, the creation of the Japanese islands. The divine mandate. After receiving the divine mandate from the elder gods, Izanagi and Izanami descended from the heavens to fulfill their sacred duty. Standing upon the floating bridge of heaven, they looked down at the formless, chaotic waters below, ready to bring structure and life to the world. The sacred spear and the first island. Izanagi held the jeweled spear, a nonoboko, a divine weapon bestowed upon them for this mission. With careful precision, he dipped the spear into the chaotic waters below. As he lifted the spear back up, droplets of water fell from its tip and formed the very first island, Onagoro. This island would serve as the foundation for their creation, a place where the divine couple would perform the rituals necessary to shape the rest of the world. The ritual of creation. On Onagoro Island, Izanagi and Izanami performed a sacred ritual known as the Kinumi, the birth of the land. They circled the celestial pillar that stood on the island, symbolizing the union of male and female energies. However, their first attempt at this ritual was flawed, as Izanami, the goddess, spoke first. This mistake led to the birth of deformed offspring, teaching them that the balance and proper order must be maintained in all things. The 8 Great Islands. Learning from their mistake, Izanagi and Izanami repeated the ritual, this time with Izanagi speaking first. The result was the successful creation of the 8 Great Islands of Japan, also known as the Oyashima. These islands include Awaji, Shikoku, Kyushu, and Honshu, the main islands that form the heart of Japan. Each island was not just a piece of land, but was imbued with spiritual significance, representing the harmonious balance of nature and the divine. Symbolism and cultural significance. The creation of these islands is more than just a geographical origin story. It represents the Japanese people's deep connection to their land. The ritual performed by Izanagi and Izanami symbolizes the importance of harmony, order, and the balance of opposites, principles that continue to resonate in Japanese culture today. The islands themselves are often seen as sacred spaces, imbued with the essence of the gods who created them. Closing. With the birth of the Japanese islands, Izanagi and Izanami laid the foundation for the world as we know it. But their story doesn't end here. In the next episode, we'll explore the creation of the many gods and spirits that inhabit these islands and govern the natural world. Stay tuned for more fascinating insights into the world of Japanese mythology, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories from the divine. Content overview. This clip explores the continuation of Izanagi and Izanami's divine mission, focusing on how they created the gods, kami, and living beings that would inhabit the world. The narrative will emphasize the birth of significant kami, their roles in governing various elements of nature, and the symbolic meanings behind these creations. This clip is essential for understanding the interconnectedness of the gods, nature, and humanity in Japanese mythology. Script. Introduction. Welcome back to our exploration of Japanese mythology. In our previous episode, we saw how Izanagi and Izanami brought the Japanese islands into existence. But their divine work was far from over. Today, we'll delve into the next chapter of their story, the creation of the gods, spirits, and living beings that would fill the world with life and order. The birth of the kami. After shaping the islands, Izanagi and Izanami set out to populate the world with divine beings known as kami. These kami would govern the natural elements, from the mountains and rivers to the wind and the sea, ensuring that the world operated in perfect harmony. Each aspect of nature was believed to have its own guardian deity, embodying the spiritual connection between the physical world and the divine. The first divine offspring. Their first divine children were the most powerful and influential among the kami. They gave birth to Amaterasu, the radiant goddess of the sun, who would become the chief deity of the Shinto pantheon and the ancestress of the Japanese imperial family. Next was Tsukuyami, the god of the moon, who ruled the night and brought balance to Amaterasu's daylight. Lastly, they bore Susanoo, the god of storms and the sea, known for his fierce temperament and unpredictable nature. These three kami played crucial roles in shaping both the heavens and the earth. Creation of the natural elements. But Izanagi and Izanami's work didn't stop with these major deities. They went on to create a multitude of other kami, each with dominion over different aspects of the natural world. For instance, they created Oyamutsumi, the god of mountains, and Kuro-kami, the god of rain. These deities ensured that the forces of nature, such as weather, growth, and fertility, remained in balance. Every mountain, river, and forest was seen as a sacred space, imbued with the presence of a kami who watched over it. The birth of life. Beyond the kami, Izanagi and Izanami also breathed life into the world's first living beings. From plants and animals to the first humans, these creations were believed to be imbued with a spark of the divine. The connection between the kami and all living things is central to Shinto beliefs, where the concept of animism, the idea that all things possess a spirit, plays a vital role. Symbolism and cultural impact. The creation of the gods and living beings by Izanagi and Izanami symbolizes the interconnectedness of all life and the divine. In Japanese culture, this belief in the sacredness of nature has shaped not only religious practices, but also everyday life, fostering a deep respect for the natural world. The kami are not distant deities, but are believed to be present in the environment around us, influencing everything from the weather to personal fortunes. Closing. As we continue our journey through the myths of Japan, we'll see how these kami interact with each other and with humanity, creating a rich tapestry of stories that have shaped Japanese culture for millennia. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore the dramatic events that unfold when the balance between these powerful beings is disrupted. If you're enjoying this series, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the world of Japanese mythology. Content overview. This clip covers a dramatic and pivotal moment in Japanese mythology, the birth of Kagutsuchi, the god of fire, and the subsequent death of Izanami. This event is crucial because it marks the transition from creation to destruction and sets the stage for the later events in the mythological narrative. The focus will be on the intense emotions involved, the consequences of Kagutsuchi's birth, and the deep cultural and symbolic meanings behind these events. Script. Introduction. Welcome back to our journey through the legends of Japan. In this episode, we'll explore one of the most dramatic and emotional moments in Japanese mythology, the birth of Kagutsuchi, the god of fire, and the tragic death of Izanami. This story marks a turning point in the divine narrative, where the forces of creation collide with destruction. The birth of Kagutsuchi. After creating the islands of Japan and populating them with gods and living beings, Izanami became pregnant with their next child, Kagutsuchi, the god of fire. However, this birth was unlike any other. As Kagutsuchi was born, his fiery nature caused immense pain and suffering to his mother, Izanami. The flames that engulfed her during childbirth were so intense that they consumed her, leading to her untimely death. The death of Izanami. Izanami's death was a moment of profound loss and sorrow for Izanagi. The goddess who had been his partner in creation, his equal, was now gone, taken by the very force of life they had brought into the world. Overcome with grief and rage, Izanagi's sorrow turned to anger, and in his fury, he drew his sword and decapitated Kagutsuchi, the child responsible for his beloved's death. Consequences of Kagutsuchi's birth. The death of Kagutsuchi did not end his influence. From his blood, which splattered across the earth, new gods and spirits were born, 8 volcano gods, representing the destructive power of fire and other deities associated with iron and warfare. These gods would later play crucial roles in various aspects of Japanese mythology, symbolizing both the destructive and creative potential of fire. The descent of Izanami. After Izanami's death, her spirit descended into Yomi, the land of the dead. Izanagi, unable to bear the loss, decided to journey to the underworld to bring her back. This decision sets the stage for one of the most haunting and significant episodes in Japanese mythology, a journey that reveals the irreversible consequences of death and the inescapable nature of fate. Symbolism and cultural impact. The birth of Kagutsuchi and the death of Izanami symbolize the dual nature of creation and destruction, two forces that are intrinsically linked. In Japanese culture, fire is both a giver of life, essential for warmth and cooking, and a force of destruction, capable of causing great harm. This duality is reflected in the way fire is revered and feared, celebrated in festivals like Kagutsuchi's, and respected for its power to both nurture and destroy. Closing. As we continue to unravel the story of Izanagi and Izanami, the next episode will take us into the depths of Yomi, where Izanagi attempts to reclaim his lost love. But not all journeys end as hoped, and the consequences of this descent will shape the world of the gods and humanity forever. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss this pivotal chapter in the epic saga of Japan's creation myth. Introduction. Welcome back to our mythological journey through the legends of Japan. In our last episode, we witnessed the tragic death of Izanami during the birth of Kagutsuchi, the god of fire. Today, we follow Izanagi, who, driven by grief and love, embarks on a harrowing journey into Yomi, the land of the dead, to bring his beloved wife back to the world of the living. The decision to enter Yomi. Devastated by the loss of Izanami, Izanagi could not accept that she was gone forever. In his despair, he made the fateful decision to descend into Yomi, the dark and foreboding underworld, in hopes of retrieving her spirit and restoring her to life. Yomi, however, is not a place from which the dead easily return. It is a realm shrouded in darkness, ruled by shadows and silence, where the souls of the deceased linger in a state of eternal rest. Izanagi's journey into the underworld. As Izanagi entered Yomi, he was confronted by an eerie, desolate landscape, far removed from the vibrant world of the living. The air was thick with gloom, and the path ahead was treacherous, lined with obstacles that sought to deter the living from entering the realm of the dead. Yet, Izanagi pressed on, driven by his love for Izanami and the hope of reuniting with her. The encounter with Izanami. After what seemed like an eternity, Izanagi finally found Izanami in the depths of Yomi. However, she was no longer the radiant goddess he had known. Izanami, now a spirit of the underworld, warned Izanagi not to look at her, for she had eaten the food of Yomi and was bound to its dark realm. Desperate, Izanagi disregarded her warning and lit a fire to see her face. What he saw horrified him. Izanami's body had decayed, and she was now a terrifying figure, forever changed by death. The pursuit. Overcome with fear and sorrow, Izanagi fled Yomi, with Izanami, enraged by his betrayal, pursuing him with the intent of dragging him back into the underworld. As he ran, Izanagi used every means at his disposal to escape, throwing obstacles in her path, including his hair comb that transformed into a bamboo grove and his headband that became a river. Despite her fury, Izanami could not catch him. The closing of Yomi's entrance. Finally, Izanagi reached the entrance of Yomi, known as the Yomitsu Arasaka, and blocked it with a massive boulder, sealing the gateway between the living and the dead. From behind the barrier, Izanami cursed him, vowing to take 1,000 lives each day, to which Izanagi responded by promising to give life to 1,500 more. This exchange symbolized the ongoing cycle of life and death, a balance that would persist throughout time. Symbolism and cultural impact. Izanagi's journey into Yomi and his encounter with Izanami represent the irreversible separation between life and death. In Japanese culture, Yomi is not just a place of punishment, but a realm where the dead reside in quiet stillness. The story underscores the importance of respecting the natural order and the boundaries between life and death. It also reflects the cultural practices surrounding death, such as rituals to honor ancestors and ensure their peaceful rest. Closing. As we continue our exploration of Japanese mythology, our next episode will focus on Izanagi's purification ritual after his escape from Yomi, a pivotal moment that leads to the birth of new deities, including the sun goddess Amaterasu. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned as we uncover more tales from the rich tapestry of Japan's ancient legends. Introduction. Welcome back to our journey through the legends of Japan. In our last episode, we followed Izanagi's perilous descent into Yomi in search of his beloved Izanami. After his harrowing escape from the land of the dead, Izanagi, burdened by the impurities of the underworld, knew he had to cleanse himself. In this episode, we'll explore Izanagi's purification ritual and the birth of three of the most powerful and revered gods in Japanese mythology: Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo. Izanagi's return from Yomi. After fleeing Yomi and sealing its entrance, Izanagi was filled with both sorrow and the taint of the underworld. According to Shinto belief, contact with death brings impurity, and Izanagi understood that he must cleanse himself to rid his body and soul of the darkness that clung to him. So, he traveled to a river to perform a purification ritual known as misogi. This act of cleansing is an important concept in Shintoism, representing the renewal of both body and spirit. The purification ritual. Izanagi's purification took place in the river, where he washed away the filth of Yomi. As he removed his garments and washed his body, something extraordinary happened. Divine beings were born from each part of his cleansing. As he bathed, the dirt and impurities that came off his body gave rise to a host of new gods and spirits. But the most significant of these births came when he washed his face. The birth of Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo. When Izanagi washed his left eye, the radiant goddess Amaterasu was born, bringing with her the light of the sun. Amaterasu would go on to become one of the most revered deities in Japanese mythology, symbolizing light, life, and the divine lineage of the Japanese imperial family. As she emerged, the heavens were filled with her brilliant light, signifying the dawn of a new era. Next, when Izanagi washed his right eye, Tsukuyomi, the serene god of the moon, was born. He represented the calm and coolness of the night, balancing the light of Amaterasu with his peaceful, moonlit presence. Together, Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi brought balance to the heavens, governing day and night. Finally, from Izanagi's nose, Susanoo, the tempestuous god of storms and seas, was born. Susanoo embodied the wild and unpredictable forces of nature, from the turbulent waves of the oceans to the fierce winds of a storm. His chaotic nature would later lead to conflicts with his siblings, but his power was essential in shaping the world. The importance of these deities. Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo are not only significant for their individual domains, light, darkness, and nature, but also for the balance they represent. Together, they govern the forces of the universe, the sun that gives life, the moon that governs the night, and the storms that shape the seas and land. Their births mark the continuation of creation in Japanese mythology, reflecting the interplay between harmony and chaos. Symbolism of purification and renewal. Izanagi's purification ritual is symbolic of the ongoing need for renewal and cleansing, a concept deeply rooted in Shintoism. Just as Izanagi had to cleanse himself after his journey to the land of the dead, purification is seen as essential for maintaining spiritual and physical balance. The act of washing away impurities represents the ability to renew oneself, shedding the darkness of the past and moving forward with a clear mind and spirit. Closing. As we continue to explore the rich tapestry of Japanese mythology, the next episode will dive into the conflicts that arise between these powerful siblings, particularly the stormy relationship between Amaterasu and Susanoo, whose rivalry shakes the heavens and the earth. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next exciting chapter in the epic tale of Japan's gods and legends. Introduction. Welcome back to our exploration of Japanese mythology. In today's episode, we delve into the intense rivalry between Amaterasu, the radiant goddess of the sun, and her tempestuous brother, Susanoo, the god of storms and seas. Their conflict leads to one of the most dramatic episodes in the mythological cycle, where the heavens and the earth are thrown into chaos. The rivalry begins. Amaterasu and Susanoo, despite being siblings, were polar opposites in nature. While Amaterasu brought light and order to the heavens, Susanoo embodied chaos, storms, and destruction. Their relationship grew increasingly strained as Susanoo's wild and disruptive behavior began to disturb the peace of the heavens. Susanoo's destructive behavior. After receiving permission to visit his sister in the heavenly realm of Takamagara, Susanu's behavior quickly became uncontrollable. His actions were erratic and destructive. He destroyed rice fields, defiled sacred spaces, and caused havoc wherever he went. Amaterasu, who valued order and harmony, grew increasingly frustrated with her brother's recklessness. The final straw, Susanu's insult. The tension between the siblings reached its peak when Susanu, in a fit of rage, threw a flayed horse into Amaterasu's sacred weaving hall, causing the death of one of her maidens. This disrespectful and violent act was the final straw for Amaterasu, who could no longer tolerate her brother's behavior. Amaterasu retreats into the Heavenly Rock Cave. In her grief and anger, Amaterasu retreated into the Aimnoawado, the Heavenly Rock Cave, sealing herself inside and plunging the world into darkness. With the sun goddess hidden away, both the heavens and the earth fell into chaos. Without her light, crops withered, and the gods were unable to function properly. The consequences of darkness. Amaterasu's absence threw the world into disarray. Without the sun's light, the balance of nature was disrupted, and the gods grew desperate. The other deities knew that without Amaterasu, life would cease to exist, so they gathered outside the cave to find a way to coax her back into the world. The resolution: coaxing Amaterasu back. To lure Amaterasu out of the cave, the gods devised a clever plan. They placed a large mirror and beautiful jewels outside the entrance, and the goddess Aimnouzum performed a humorous and provocative dance, causing laughter and curiosity among the gods. Intrigued by the commotion, Amaterasu peeked out from the cave, and as she did, she was captivated by her own reflection in the mirror. The gods seized the moment, pulling her out of the cave and restoring light to the world. Susanu's banishment. After Amaterasu returned, order was restored to the heavens and earth, but Susanu had to face the consequences of his actions. The gods decided to banish him from the heavens, sending him to live in exile on the earthly realm. Despite his punishment, Susanu's story continues as he embarks on a new journey that will shape the future of the world. Symbolism and cultural impact. The conflict between Amaterasu and Susanu represents the balance between order and chaos, light and darkness. Amaterasu's retreat into the cave symbolizes the devastating effects of imbalance in nature, while her eventual return illustrates the triumph of order and harmony over chaos. The story also reflects important cultural values in Japanese society, such as the need for balance, respect, and the consequences of disruptive behavior. Closing. Next time, we'll follow Susanu on his journey after being exiled from the heavens, where he encounters new challenges and battles fearsome monsters. Stay tuned for the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic tales from Japanese mythology. Introduction. Welcome back to our journey through the myths of Japan. In the last episode, we witnessed the intense conflict between Susanu, the storm god, and his sister Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun. After causing chaos in the heavenly realm, Susanu was banished to Earth. In today's episode, we'll follow Susanu's journey in exile and his legendary battle against the fearsome Yamata no Orochi, an eight-headed serpent that terrorized the land. Susanu's exile from the heavens. After his banishment from the heavens for his reckless behavior, Susanu wandered the earth, filled with rage and sorrow. Stripped of his divine status, he had to find a new purpose. His journey led him to the land of Izumo, where he encountered a grieving family, the god Ashinazuchi, his wife Tenazuchi, and their daughter Kushinadaheim. the Yamada no Orochi. The family revealed that they were being terrorized by a monstrous creature known as the Yamada no Orochi, an 8-headed, 8-tailed serpent that devoured their daughters one by one each year. Kusanadaheim was the last of their children, and she was destined to be the next sacrifice to the Orochi. Struck by her beauty and moved by the family's plight, Susanoo promised to defeat the beast in exchange for Kusanadaheim's hand in marriage. Susanoo's clever plan. Using his wits, Susanoo devised a clever plan to defeat the mighty Orochi. He ordered large quantities of sake to be prepared and set up 8 vats of the strong liquor outside the creature's lair. When the Orochi emerged, each of its heads drank from the vats, eventually becoming drunk and sluggish. Seizing the opportunity, Susanoo struck, cutting down the beast with his legendary sword. The legendary sword, Izanagi. As Susanoo slayed the Yamada no Orochi, he discovered something incredible. Within the serpent's tail lay a powerful sword, which would later be known as the Izanagi no Tsurugi, or the grass-cutting sword. This sword became one of the 3 sacred treasures of Japan, symbolizing divine power and authority. Susanoo's victory over the Orochi not only secured the safety of the people but also marked his redemption, as he transformed from a chaotic god into a heroic figure. Symbolism of the Orochi battle. The battle between Susanoo and the Yamada no Orochi is rich with symbolism. The Orochi represents chaos and destruction, while Susanoo's triumph reflects his ability to overcome his own chaotic nature. The sword Izanagi, born from the body of the serpent, symbolizes the idea that power can emerge from overcoming great adversity. This battle is also a key moment in Susanoo's journey of redemption, where he goes from being a disruptive force to a protector and hero. Susanoo's marriage and return to honor. After defeating the Orochi, Susanoo married Kusanadaheim and settled in the land of Izumo, earning the respect and admiration of the people. His journey from exile to heroism transformed his image and restored his honor, marking the beginning of a new chapter in his life. Closing. In the next episode, we'll continue to explore the legacy of Susanoo and the impact of his actions on the world of gods and humans alike. His victory over the Yamada no Orochi is just one of many legendary feats that make him one of the most complex and fascinating figures in Japanese mythology. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next time for more epic tales from the world of Japanese legends. Introduction. Welcome back to our exploration of Japanese mythology. In our previous episodes, we witnessed the chaos that unfolded when the sun goddess Amaterasu retreated into the heavenly rock cave, plunging the world into darkness. In today's episode, we'll follow the god's efforts to coax her back out, restoring light to both the heavens and the earth. This pivotal moment in mythology symbolizes the triumph of light over darkness and the restoration of harmony. Amaterasu's retreat into the cave. Amaterasu, the radiant goddess of the sun, withdrew into the Aimnoawado, or heavenly rock cave, after being deeply offended by the destructive actions of her brother, Susanoo. Without her light, the world was cast into darkness, and the natural order fell into disarray. The crops withered, the gods were left powerless, and chaos reigned. The gods knew that without Amaterasu, life could not continue. The gods planned to coax Amaterasu out. Desperate to bring Amaterasu back and restore balance, the gods gathered outside the cave and devised a clever plan. They placed a large, polished mirror in front of the cave's entrance, and the goddess Aim-no-Yuzin, known for her joyful and playful nature, began to perform a humorous and provocative dance. As she danced, the gods laughed and celebrated, creating a commotion that was impossible to ignore. Amaterasu's curiosity and the mirror. Curious about the noise outside, Amaterasu peeked out from the cave, wanting to see what was happening. As she looked out, she was struck by her own reflection in the mirror that had been placed at the entrance. The brilliant light of her beauty reflected back at her, and in that moment of awe and surprise, the gods seized the opportunity. They quickly pulled the cave open and coaxed her fully out, restoring her light to the world. The restoration of light and balance. As soon as Amaterasu emerged, the sun returned to the sky, bathing the world in its life-giving light. The darkness that had enveloped both the heavens and the earth was dispelled, and balance was restored. The crops began to grow again, the gods regained their powers, and order was re-established. Amaterasu's return symbolized the triumph of harmony, light, and leadership over chaos and darkness. Symbolism of Amaterasu's return. The return of Amaterasu from the cave is a powerful symbol in Japanese culture, representing renewal, the victory of light over darkness, and the importance of harmony in nature and society. Amaterasu's leadership as the sun goddess is central to the Shinto belief system, where she is revered as the source of life and order. The use of a mirror in this myth also reflects the concept of self-awareness and the divine connection between humanity and the gods. The sacred treasures and imperial lineage. Amaterasu's return also ties into the larger symbolism of Japan's sacred treasures, the mirror, the sword, and the jewel, which represent wisdom, strength, and benevolence. These treasures are deeply connected to the Japanese imperial family, who trace their lineage back to Amaterasu herself. Her emergence from the cave reaffirms the divine right to rule and the central role of the sun goddess in the spiritual and political fabric of Japan. Closing. In our next episode, we'll explore the continuing legacy of Amaterasu and her impact on Japanese culture and history. From her role in the imperial lineage to her ongoing importance in religious and cultural practices, Amaterasu's story is one of the most influential in Japanese mythology. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more epic tales from the world of gods and legends. Introduction. Welcome back to our final episode in this series on Japanese mythology. Today, we'll explore the enduring legacy of Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and the profound significance of the three sacred treasures of Japan. These treasures, the mirror, the sword, and the jewel, are symbols of wisdom, courage, and benevolence, and they connect Amaterasu's story to Japan's imperial lineage and cultural identity. Amaterasu's role in the imperial lineage. As the central figure in the Shinto pantheon, Amaterasu is not only revered as the goddess of the sun, but also as the divine ancestor of Japan's imperial family. According to tradition, the emperors of Japan are believed to be direct descendants of Amaterasu, with the first emperor, Jimmu, being her great-great-grandson. This divine lineage has played a crucial role in the concept of imperial authority and governance in Japan, as the emperor is seen as a link between the gods and the people. The three sacred treasures, mirror, sword, and jewel. The three sacred treasures, known as the imperial regalia of Japan, are the most important symbols of the emperor's divine authority. These treasures were gifted by Amaterasu to her grandson, Ninigi no Makoto, when he was sent to rule the earth. Each treasure holds deep symbolic meaning. The mirror, Yada no Kagami representing wisdom. The mirror reflects truth and self-awareness. It is said to embody Amaterasu's radiant light, and it played a crucial role in her return from the heavenly rock cave. The sword, Izanagi no Tsurugi, symbolizing courage and strength. This legendary sword was found by Susanoo after he defeated the Yamata no Orochi. It represents the power to protect and lead with honor. The jewel, Yasakani no Magatama, the jewel represents benevolence and compassion, embodying the virtue of kindness and the bond between the gods and humanity. These treasures are still considered sacred and are used in the enthronement ceremonies of new emperors, emphasizing their divine right to rule. The sacred treasures in modern Japan. While the three sacred treasures are rarely seen by the public, their symbolic importance remains central to Japan's cultural and spiritual identity. The treasures are kept in sacred shrines, such as the mirror, which is enshrined at Ayase Grand Shrine, the most important Shinto shrine in Japan and dedicated to Amaterasu. These relics continue to play a role in maintaining the connection between the divine and the imperial family, as well as between the people and their spiritual heritage. Amaterasu's lasting influence. Amaterasu's influence extends beyond the imperial family. As the goddess of the sun, she represents the life-giving force that sustains the world, and her role in Japanese mythology underscores the importance of leadership, harmony, and balance. Festivals and rituals in her honor, such as those held at Ayase Grand Shrine, celebrate her divine presence and the role she plays in guiding and protecting the people of Japan. The cultural and religious legacy. Amaterasu's story and the symbolism of the three sacred treasures continue to inspire and shape Japan's cultural and religious practices. Her legacy is reflected in Japan's values of respect, balance, and reverence for nature. She remains a central figure in Shinto belief, embodying the principles that have guided Japanese society for centuries. Closing. With Amaterasu's legacy and the enduring significance of the three sacred treasures, we conclude our exploration of Japan's rich mythological heritage. From the creation of the world to the battles between gods and the restoration of light, these stories continue to resonate in modern Japan. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of gods and legends. Don't forget to subscribe for more explorations of mythologies from around the world.